In this video, we will explain how to add a W-2 form to your tax return. So after you've entered the basic client data, the next thing you're going to do to add a form is go up to this button right here and click Add Form. And when you do that, it's going to give you a list of all the forms and schedules that are available for you to add to the tax return. Most of the time, the most common form that you're going to add is just the W-2. But say, for instance, you needed to add a 1099-G because someone won on the lottery. What they can do is hit 1099 down here in this form, scroll down, and it'll give you a list of all the forms that are available to you at your disposal. Say, for instance, you kind of have an idea of what the name of that form was called. You can click the index tab right here, and in numerical order and alphabetical order, you can search for the relevant tax forms for you. Lastly, if you have a state tax return that needs to be added, you can add that by clicking over to the state tax or state to the state tab, and then searching for the relevant state that needs to be added for the taxpayer. So in this case, we're going to keep it short and simple, and we're just going to add a regular W-2. Cool thing about the EIN, or the employer identification number, is if you've used the desktop software in previous years, you will already have a list of or like a library of EINs on your choice menu. So in this case, I'm going to just select one of the EINs that we already have in the list, and that'll just fill in the EIN number and the employer address and zip code. I still have to enter the wage informations. So for simplicity, let's just say I made $36,000, and when you enter that information, you're going to see a couple boxes populate, namely 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, and 6 will automatically populate, and those calculations are based on the filing status and the tax code for that filing status. But you'll also have to enter in the federal tax withholding. So let's just say I put in $3,500 worth of federal tax withholding, and that'll be okay. If I have any other deductions, such as like 401k, you would be able to add those right here, or under the relevant numbered box. So if it says 12 DD, you can click 12 and scroll down to DD, and you will have like healthcare coverage, 401k, any type of contributions, or any type of code that is also on the W-2. Just copy that over to this form, and you'll be able to find the relevant codes and type in the appropriate values for those. If I had a state tax return, what I would do is I would come down here to line 15, and then I would just select which state is relevant for my case. I live in Tennessee, so we don't have state tax, so I'm just going to keep it short and simple and not add a state tax return. But if I had to, once again, I would go to Add Form and pull up the state that's relevant for me. As you can see on the left side of the tab, on the left side of the screen here, once I refresh or save, it's going to update the return with the input that we just added as far as the W-2. So now that I've added $36,000 worth of income, the software has updated me with what I can expect my refund to be so far as the status of this tax return is currently. So right now, as it stands, I'm looking at about a $4,900 return, but I also haven't done the EIC checklist yet, and I also have Schedule C that I have yet to add. But for simplicity purposes, we just wanted to cover how to add the W-2. And once again, you do that by clicking Add Form up here, and you add W-2 by simply pressing Enter or double clicking this line right here. And if you have a second W-2 that you needed to add, you can just add that on top of the one you've already entered by clicking number 2, and it'll add a second W-2 if you have a client with more than one W-2 for their tax return. And that's pretty much it. That is how you add a W-2 inside of the tax software.